Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercising my First Amendment rights vlog style, here with my third Q&A, this time in honor of having reached over 600 subscribers. Thank you very much to all my viewers and subscribers for taking so much interest in this channel, and thank you to everybody who asked the questions which I'm going to read. I will say, I'm not going to answer all the questions that I got in that video. Some were a bit too stupid. I don't want this to be too silly of a video. The other question that I'm not going to be answering at all is where I go to school. I mentioned in an earlier video, a very early video, that I want to keep that private information because I've said it before, and I'll say it again for those of you who are new. Saying where you go to school or to college, it's like telling where you live, and I don't want to do that. That's a really stupid thing to do. I'm not going to be answering that question at all. It was asked a couple of times. So, let's begin. Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan 1234 Full asks, 1. Can you do a top 30 best YouTubers? That would take way too much time to put together. I already have a top 10 ranters video. That took a good bit of time writing and, sampling and all that. That took a good bit of time to make. And 30 best YouTubers, that would take a crap ton more time. Plus, most of the people I would include there would be ranters anyway, so it would be kind of biased there. 2. What's your opinion on Smosh? I used to like them, I used to find them funny, but nowadays, I haven't been finding them very funny, and of course with their little, campaign, I haven't been, finding them to be pretty respectable people, especially when, they disable comments on, some of their videos or ratings. They block people who have asked questions or disagreed with their campaign. Yeah, that's not going to get any respect from me. And what's your favorite movie? My favorite movie would have to be Wedding Crashers. It's really funny, I like the plot, and that's pretty much all I can say. Plus, my personal hottest actress is in it, Isla Fisher. I know other people are going to think differently, but I think she is just beautiful. I've always had, a thing for redheads, so there you go there. TCG Dragon asks, 1. What's your opinion on e-begging? I think it's a really shallow move, especially if you're a larger channel that brings in a lot of cash from your videos, from ads, from your AdSense. I do think it's a really shallow move if you're a popular channel. It's one thing to ask for donations, especially if it's for a good cause. It's another thing to just ask for money that only benefits you and not the greater population. So that's my opinion on e-begging. 2. What people inspire you while you were a kid? I can't really remember that far back to any childhood inspirations or role models that I may have had. Oh, fuck, it's raining now. I can't really think too far back, but if I had to pick one, this is kind of going to sound a bit predictable coming from me. Oh wow, it just stopped. This would sound cliche coming from me, but I'd probably say Arnold from Hey Arnold, because, he went out of his way, and he didn't have to help people and give people advice, and I guess that inspires a good bit of the way that I interact with people if they ask me any questions. So, that's the best I can give there. Toonchi Gamer asks, congrats on 600. Thank you. Opinions on Danny the Metalhead? We did have a little falling out earlier this week, but we made up and everything is cool with us again. And I still do really appreciate his content. I do think he makes some pretty good videos. Puts a lot of time into making his videos the way they are. I do have a lot of respect for him. So, yep. Plus, again, if you do like what I do, you'll definitely like what he does. Rock Out Loud Teen Dream asks, what's your opinion on the One Direction fan base? I know some of the fans are crazy and insane on how they act towards other fan bases, like the All Time Low Hustlers. Jeez, that's the name All Time Low has for their fans. And in general, to anyone who doesn't like 1D. And this is coming from a person who doesn't like the fan base or their music. I haven't really had too much interaction with One Direction fans, I'm not exactly really big on One Direction, but at the same time, I don't like them either. I don't hate them either. I know Nate Talks to You made a video on, One Direction fans getting really pissy over a song that Rucka Rucka Ali made about one of their members. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you take Rucka seriously, then you're a fucking moron. Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's basically what I think of One Direction fan base. You know, every, band or artist, they have their rational fans, but they also have their irrational fans. Everybody has them, including myself. So, that's what I think, in a nutshell. Crosby35744 asks, what inspired you to start ranting? What inspired me to start ranting would have to be how not a lot of people were making videos talking about metal elitist ideologies, and I really wanted to get a lot of the opinions I had on them out there. That's a good bit of the reason why I wanted to start ranting, and also because a lot of the people that I'm subscribed to were building up quite of a following with making rant videos, especially Muse Productions, who I've said before is my main influence as far as ranting goes. I liked seeing how he was building a following, making videos, giving his opinions on music, and I sort of wanted to do something similar. So that's basically what inspired me to start these videos. The Real Jimmy Casual asks, 1. Are you subscribed to any gaming channels? No, and the reason for that is because I am not really a gamer, I don't really know a lot about gaming, and I don't really play a lot of games, but really the only thing even really close to a gaming channel that I'm subscribed to would be this user called LegoKing831, who also does a channel called Humongous Soundtracks. And the reason why I subscribe to him is because he did a lot of, walkthroughs and gameplay videos on videos from the Humongous Entertainment franchise. And I really liked seeing those videos, so that's why I subscribed to him. And I am going to make a video myself talking about Humongous Entertainment in the future because, it's something I really feel pretty passionate about. 2. Thoughts on Odd Future. I don't really know too much about them. I know a lot of their fans can be kind of crazy, I guess, but other than that, I don't really know too much about them. If anybody can provide me, with any good songs from them to check out, that would be much appreciated. Jimmy Hayden asks, what's your opinion on Papa Roach? I like them. I like their sound. I do like the kinds of songs they put out. I do think Last Resort has one of the best alternative metal riffs. They are a band that really fits the alternative metal sound perfectly, and I really like that sound. So, obviously, Papa Roach is going to suit well with me, so that's my answer there. Elite Ace of Spades TV asks, what is your opinion on PewDiePie? I don't really care about him that much. Like I said before, gaming channels aren't really my thing, so I'm not really going to find too much entertainment in the kinds of videos that PewDiePie makes. I know a lot of people in my fan base, that I'm subscribed to even, like JJ Discussions, they're fans of PewDiePie, and Skull Ripper also, I know he's a fan of PewDiePie. And that doesn't bother me really at all. I don't really care much about PewDiePie. And just to get off track, I do find it kind of funny how some people in the comments of my video called I'm a Barrel were, acting as if that video was meant to be a serious video, when in reality it's just a joke video, just a comedic sketch on, how the bro army tends to act on videos that are made against PewDiePie. Other than that, I really don't care that much about PewDiePie. I do respect him for what he's achieved. He's now #1 most subscribed on YouTube. His campaign, I do think, was a lot more moral and really a lot more nicer of a campaign than Smosh's. I do respect PewDiePie a lot more than Smosh, so there's my opinion there. Enza2775 asks, what is your favorite gaming franchise? I would have to say Super Mario Bros. A lot of the games that I have in my little Game Boy game collection, which is sitting over there, are Super Mario games, and also, given that I have this little stuffed Yoshi, since Yoshi is my favorite video game character, Yoshi, of course, is a Super Mario character. Obviously, for that question, I'd have to say Super Mario Bros. Anti-Del Rio asks, what do you think about pro wrestling? I don't really care about it. I don't really watch it. It's really not my thing. It's kind of ironic because, that's a lot of what Muse Productions does, his Raw reactions. Sometimes I feel like, I'm the only fan of his that doesn't watch Raw reactions. Sometimes I wonder if that's true. Then again, sometimes I also feel like even though that's the case, I'm probably a bigger fan of him than a lot of other people. But yeah, not really big on pro wrestling, not really my thing. And have you been in Norway? No, I have not, but I wouldn't mind going to Norway one of these days, even though Norway is, out of all the Scandinavian countries, the one I want to go to the least. Sweden being the first, and Finland being second, then Norway being third. So yeah, Norway wouldn't be a bad place to go to one day. Kita Kamui asks, favorite meal? Lobster! I love lobster so fucking much. But obviously it's not going to be the most affordable thing ever, so my favorite affordable meal would have to be like tortellini and meatballs. I like having that whenever I'm at home, so there you go. H Spirit of Vengeance asks, have you listened to the new Avenged Sevenfold album? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I have not listened to the new Avenged Sevenfold album, but I've heard very good things about it. I will have to make a point to listen to it, and I will probably like it. The Finnish Fiddler asks, do you write scripts for your rants? Sometimes I do, not all the time. It's something that I've experimented doing, you know, a few times. I've scripted some videos, especially videos that I have a lot to say in, like list videos. I've scripted those. If I have a lot that I want to say, I'll usually script them, but other than that, I haven't been scripting a whole lot. This obviously isn't scripted. My video before this wasn't scripted. It's something I don't usually do as often, but it's something that, you know, I do dabble in from time to time. Dope Nose 444 asks, how does one become better at ranting on YouTube? Probably by researching your topics and appearing confident on camera, confident in what you're saying, and confident in the way you present yourself and the way you present your opinions. It's all about presentation. Lexi Tate asks, what is your dream holiday? I guess you mean vacation. I've never been to Hawaii before. I'd like to go there one of these days. Also, anywhere in Scandinavia, that would be awesome, like I mentioned before. I guess one of those. Biggest pet peeve? I have two. One is when too many people are talking and not leaving one person any room to talk. And the other is when people misspell my name. My name, for those of you who don't know, is Michael, which is spelled M-I-C-H-A-E-L, and it really just kind of angers me when people spell it M-I-C-H-E-A-L. It just gets on my nerves. Ronak Patel asks, will you check out Inside Jacob's Mind for me? I've heard some pretty good things about him. I will check him out if you can tell me what a good video of his to start out with would be. You know, I've heard good things about him. I'd definitely be open to that. Sci-Fi Muffins asks, how did you get your intro line, exercising my First Amendment rights vlog style? That is a twist off of the catchphrase that Muse Productions used to use in a lot of his early videos, which went like, exercising my freedom of speech whether you like it or not. And given that, you know, he isn't using that catchphrase anymore, I figured I would resurrect it and put my own little twist on it, so that's where that line comes from. Tim Owens, I like your name, asks, Bret Michaels is flirting with your girlfriend. What do you do? Obviously, I'd be flattered that he, you know, is talking to us and, you know, being all nice to us, but I'd also give him this little glare like, as in to say, you do know she's my girlfriend, right? You know, that type of glare. Obviously, nothing to indicate that I want to start a fight with him. I don't want to get into a fight with him. But just something to sort of, you know, say, time to stop, buzz off, you know, I respect you, and I do like your music, but go away, please. And also, you know, I do like, you know, how he likes to act like he's still in his 20s. Like he still parties hard. I like that about him, but, you know, if he's gonna get in the way of something like a relationship, I'm gonna be like, time to buzz off, man. Jesus Sucks Dick 5 asks, what are your views on Freemasonry? Don't really know too much about it other than sometimes people like to twist it around to make it sound like it's satanic. I know it's not satanic. It reminds me a little bit of agnosticism, so it's okay, I guess, in my book. What do you think of The Bravery? I only know one song of theirs. The only song I know of theirs is their song An Honest Mistake. And it's a pretty fun song. It's a pretty catchy song. I do respect them as a band. But yeah, that's really all I know of theirs. if you're from Boston, why don't you have a Boston accent? I sort of do, but it's really hard to tell. Last year, me and some friends here had a little running gag of the way I pronounce room, like rum, and I don't even realize it, and I just do it to piss them off. That's one example. Same with the word roof. It sounds a little bit like rough sometimes. I guess my accent sort of comes more from my mom's side, because she wasn't from Boston. My dad was, or he was from Rhode Island, actually. But yeah. What college do you go to? I am not going to answer that. I already mentioned why. Kuzenvo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, asks, what do you hate most about YouTube? I hate how it's always changing without, getting too much input from its users. It doesn't run any demos with us. It says, alright, now we're gonna have the homepage looking like this. We're gonna have the subscription page looking like this. Tough luck. That's the thing I hate the most about YouTube, and that's really it. Blackleg Sanji asks, who are your favorite non-ranting YouTubers, if you have any? Off the top of my head, I would say a friend of mine from camp who does one-man a cappella, one-man barbershop, or even choir arrangements of some songs, called DanWright32. He's very talented, and I'd highly recommend him. I'm also a big fan of E-Rock. Yep, one of my favorite musician guitar channels, whatever you call it. He's awesome, also very talented. I like a lot of the songs he does. Some of the arrangements are of stuff that I don't really know anything about, but I still like to see his playing because he's a great guitarist. Another guitarist I'd recommend, one of these, guitar solo cover channels, is this channel called OGO Zuban. He's not very active these days, but he does some really great covers, solo covers of songs by Loudness, Dawkins, Ozzy Osbourne, Van Halen, Quiet Riot, Rat, some Motley Crue. A lot of 80s metal guitar solo covers. I'd definitely recommend him. He has a really sweet tone. Brock's Dubs I also think is pretty funny. Yep, and that's really all that's come into mind. Those are my favorite non-ranting channels. And also Cover Killer Nation and Infidel Amsterdam and Count Blaggereth. Those aren't really ranting channels. They do rants sometimes, but they're more review-oriented and sometimes, vlogging. That's what Infidel really does. He's not really a ranter, but yeah, them also. I'm also a pretty big fan of some YouTube poop channels. YouTube poops I personally think are pretty hilarious if done right. An example of a YouTube poop channel that I like a lot would be probably CS188, who's probably the best in that genre anyway. He makes some pretty funny YouTube poops. Other than that, I usually like to, search for, some classic YouTube poops, from channels such as, off the top of my head, channels such as Alvin YTP, SSBM, that's what it is. SSBM Expert. They've done some pretty good YouTube poops in the past. They don't really upload a lot these days. And Walrus Guy, that's another classic guy. They're pretty good YouTube poop channels. I'm also open to a lot of reviewers. I mean, a lot of these aren't really on YouTube, but reviewers along the lines of The Rap Critic or Todd in the Shadows as far as music reviews goes, and Muse's newer stuff. Of course, I can't forget that because I'm such a fucking fanboy of his. And, some movie review channels, usually Nostalgia Critic or Spoony. Those are really the only movie reviewers I've ever really watched. And if you want a good movie reviewer on YouTube to check out Blaze the Movie Fan. He does some pretty good reviews of some pretty good movies. So check him out also. And he also reviews, TV shows and TV episodes. He's definitely a pretty good guy to check out. Who are your least favorite non-ranting YouTubers, also, if you have any? Pretty much your typical run-of-the-mill people that, we've all made videos about before. Your typical comedians, like friggin' Shane Dawson, Ray William Johnson, and the like. And Onision, of course. Hate that fucker. And, Caden Cowger also. He's a fucking nut. So, yeah. Those would probably be what I would put for there. Is it true that I, Blackleg Sanji, am the coolest fictional character ever made? I think it is. I don't really know too much about your character. You need to make your case to really make it sound like it is, before I can really pass any judgment. 4. Who do you think would win in a 3-way brawl between you, SkullRipper4900, and Takeshot Action? Probably Takeshot, because he's the biggest out of all of us, and probably the most masculine. Hein Bakke, I'm not sure how to pronounce that either. What do you twink about Pictoron? I think he's okay. I think he's a pretty good speaker. He's made some pretty good videos before. My only real issue with him is that he doesn't really have a lot of motivation to make any newer videos. He hasn't really been having any good ideas for videos lately. He has asked on Facebook sometimes, you know, ideas for things to make videos about because he hasn't been active in a few months. But I think he's a good speaker. Definitely someone you should check out if you're a fan of ranters. Matt321089 asks, what do you think about Miley's VMA performance? It was kind of shocking and hard to watch. I'll give it that. At the time it was really shocking and hard to watch, but right now all I really wish is that people would stop talking about it. We get it. Slutty, 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 we get it. It's nothing new. And just, you know, celebrity news and gossip in general, I just wish people would stop talking about so much. How old are you? I'm 19 currently. I'm turning 20 in about a month. The Aussie Taco asks, what college do you go to? I am not telling! If you had the chance to play guitar or drums for any band, which would it be? I wouldn't mind drumming in a band like Alter Bridge. They have some pretty nice drums in there. And they're also one of my favorite modern bands of all time. I wouldn't mind playing with them. I wouldn't mind also playing drums in a band like Whitesnake, or maybe Ozzy Osbourne, maybe. Just so many to choose from. Same with guitar. I mean, personally, I don't even think I'm that good at guitar, but, you know, too many to choose from. And finally, Danny the Metalhead asks, if you could form a band with any YouTubers, who would you choose and what would they play? I would play drums, definitely. Guitar, probably Stoutmeister. I'd like to make music with him. Maybe E-Rock would make some cameos sometimes. Bass, Nick Malazzo 668. And Cameo Bams also on keyboard. Vocals, I can't really think of vocals, but, you know, I wouldn't mind playing in an instrumental band because I think instrumentals, personally, are so much cooler than songs with vocals because there's more emphasis on instrumental prowess than there is on too much lyrical writing, so there you go. So thank you very much to everyone who asked questions, and thank you very much for investing so much interest in this channel. Thank you very much, and catch you later. I'm Shades, and I will see you next time.